let's go live. Okay. I'm just waiting for you. Okay, looks like we are live. How are you doing? Welcome to my live stream. Today is an amazing day to do a live stream for iOS development. So today we're going to build an app, and today we're going to chat about Apple event as I'm coding new stuff, as I'm coding new app with you. So let me show you what we're going to do, what are we going to be doing today. So we're going to build a mobile app with SwiftUI, and the main trick is to fetch the photos from your device to using SwiftUI. So, and if you didn't know, on your device you have favorites and you have all photos. So we're going to be coding that today. So at the beginning, we're going to take care of some of the boilerplate code. So first of all, we need to allow access to the photos. Then we are going to lay out very simple UI. Literally, it's just going to be a list view, and we're going to write code to fetch the actual photos from our device, and then we're going to lay out our UI just like that, just like grid, and we are going to add segment control or picker. So, and when we change our picker, we will fetch either favorite photos or all photos. So if you're joining my live stream right now, you're welcome to chat, ask questions, and let's just jump into it. Let's just start coding right now. So open your Xcode and start a new project and select app. And let's not include tests because right now we're not going to do any testing. We're just going to build a mobile app, and let's name it as photo gallery. Photo. I hope I spell it right. SwiftUI. SwiftUI. So next, and for this one, I'm going to save it in my repo. Fetch photos SwiftUI. Create. All right, and let me share with you the URL for the GitHub repo if you would like to follow along. This is the link. So you are more than welcome to fetch the code and follow along. If for some reason you are getting lost or something is confusing, or if you're joining my live stream a little bit late, so you are welcome to do that. So we don't really need preview for anything today. We're not gonna use that, but I will make the text a little bit larger so you could see what I actually type. And like I said, we don't really need preview because we're going to work with a simulator. We're going to fetch photos from the simulator, and I don't think that preview will be very useful for as for this live stream. So I'm just going to minimize that. So we're just going to get rid of the preview. So let's go ahead and start coding. So before we start coding though, we have to ask user a permission to fetch the photo. So we're going to go to our plist, and we're going to create a new key, and I'm going to copy and paste. So privacy photo library usage description. So if you need to take a moment and fetch and get that, so this is what you're looking for: privacy space dash photo space library space usage space description. And here we want to say please allow access to your photos. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to just build and run our simulator, so there's nothing there. Right, for our UI, we're going to use VStack, and in VStack we're going to use simple list for right now. And like I said at the beginning of the live stream, we are going to build UI. We're going to make UI a little bit prettier when we finish, when we know how to fetch photos, because UI it's rather easy to change, but the main focus will be how to fetch photos for this app. So and a little disclaimer, this project might be useful for you, because I was doing very similar project for one of my take-home projects. So that was really unusual, and like I learned a thing or two when I was working on that project. It was a lot of fun. This is why I decided to live stream it today. So so we need to fetch photos and somehow store that information in our app. So let's create some sort of like view model, or a model for our photos. So, and the reason why we need a model for our photos is because we need to do for each. We need to iterate through our photos. That's why we need to have the object, to make it a little bit easier. So I will just start a new file, and it's going to be just Swift file, and we're going to name it as a photo or photo model. So and there we're just going to create a simple struct. We're going to name it photo, and we need SwiftUI here. Import SwiftUI. So it's gonna conform to identifiable. Right. So, and for identifiable, we need to have some sort of ID, and it's going to be our UUID. And we're also gonna have a photo, and it's gonna be an image. It's gonna be an image. Oh, it's gonna be a type, the type of image. So this is our model. Let me build and run. Okay, everything looks good, and I'll now let me just push my changes to GitHub. So if you're following along and you would like to have that code, you could do that. And on my commits, you will be able to see the timestamp. So it's 5:41 project and plus photo model push. And here we go. And in the chat, I will send you a link one more time. So if you would like to follow along, and if you would like to follow along from the point where I'm coding, if you're joining me late, so you can always pull the code from GitHub repo. If you're joining and you don't see the updated code just yet, just let me know in the chat. I will keep an eye on the chat, what y'all are saying. Just say, hey, I need an update, I would like to follow along, and I will update the repo accordingly. Okay, we have that. Now let's get back to our let's go back to our content view. So, and for right now, we need to keep track of our photos somehow. So let's create a state variable. So we're going to have an array of photos, and it's going to be an empty array, and we're going to modify this array based on the photos that we received. So before we jump in, before we display the photos, what we need to do, we need to fetch the request authorization and fetch photos. So it's going to be our one of main methods that we're going to work with. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we going to say func request authorization and fetch photos. As of right now, we're not going to take any arguments right there. So, and we're not going to return anything. It's going to be void. But we're going to do some things in there. So, and basically, before we even start fetching our photos, we need to request authorization. So, how do we do that? We need to import photos, because without that library, we won't be able to do anything. So we need to import photos. So ph photo library request authorization. So let's say status, and let's do switch statement on status. Switch status. And in status, we have a few cases. So we're going to have authorize case. So for request authorization, we have unknown, default, limited, authorized, denied, unrestricted, yada 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 yada. So as of right now, just for simplicity, I only care about authorized and unknown. So, and I'm going to just say break for right now and break for right now. Okay, so we have only two cases: authorized or default. So basically, what we're going to do on authorized. We're going to fetch photos. We're going to create another method for that, and if it's not authorized, we just going to display an alert that you need to allow authorization. So if you're familiar with UIKit, then you would probably call this method on view did appear, or view will appear, most likely on view did appear, but in SwiftUI, you can do that on appear. So, and we're going to go to VStack and say on appear perform, and on appear we're going to perform request authorization for photos. Let me save it. Let me run it, and if all being well, we're going to see that authorization alert that we're requesting access to the photos. Okay, so it's a good sign. So I'm going to just go ahead and allow to access to all photos. Okay, let me update my code. $549 request authorization. So if you struggle with plist to request authorization, so don't be discouraged. That code is in GitHub repo. And by the way, if you don't see the link in the chat, let's say you join and like you don't see the link just yet, you can go to the description for the video and the link is right there. So I can copy it one more time just so you have it. Okay. So now let's actually work and let's figure out how we're gonna fetch our photos. So I'm going to write a function or a method that is going to request all the photos, and as we get that photos in, we're going to display them. So fetch photos, and right here I'm gonna say func fetch photos, and this method is going to fetch all the photos that we have in on our device. So not just favorites, all the photos. So this method is gonna be rather big, and let me just copy and paste some code right here. So I will update my repo, and you can just go ahead and fetch it from the GitHub repo. So let's talk about what's going on here. So we have image manager, and we using default, and to request images from your device, you need to have request options. So we use ph image request options. So here we provide options. We say it is synchronous, it is true. Then we provide delivery mode. In other words, we specify what kind of quality do we want to get the photo. I select high quality format, and after that we have fetch options, and fetch options and sort description. We are going to sort it by creation date. So keep in mind, spell it exactly like this, because if you misspell it, it won't do what you want. So, and now we have our fetch request, fetch assets with image options, and we use our image options. So now we do our little check. So if fetch request count is more than 0, so if our fetch result is not empty, we're going to iterate, we're going to do our for loop, and we're going to request image. So, and this is really important. Let me format it a little bit better for you. I like for fetch requests, target size. So you provide size of the images that you're requesting. Content mode aspect fit. So, and now if we have the image, if we have in options, let me put here options, a little space. So we only care about image here. So, and if image is there and present, so we create new object, a new photo object with image. So and with SwiftUI, if you would like to use UI image, because that image that we're fetching is a UI image. So, but with SwiftUI, you can cast your UI image to SwiftUI image, to the image. So you just have to say using image, and you append that photo we're going to append that photo to our array of photos. So, in order to see that, let's go ahead and say for each photos photo in. So we're going to display photo, and for our photo we're gonna say photo. Oh, you know what? Photo. Yeah. So like this is an array of our photo objects, not the actual photos. So photo, we're going to say it is resizable. So it is aspect ratio let's say 1, and aspect fill, and let's add a little border. So we'll say border, and instead of black we're gonna say white. So, and I think that will do it. So let's run and see what happens. And nothing. Oh, and nothing happens because we don't call that method. So it's all right. It's all right. So here, if it is authorized, we're going to say fetch photos. Now let's run and see what happens. Yay! And now we see our photos. Now we see our photos. So, but let's create another function. Let's create another function. And you know what? I'm going to even use dispatch queue because we do a lot of requests and eventually we need to update it on the main thread. I don't see any warnings, so we should be okay, but just out of caution, that would be a good thing to perform the operation on the main thread because we update our UI there. Dispatch queue main. Let's just build and run and see if it still works. Should still work just like that. Okay, we are good here. So I'm going to pause right here. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if anything is unclear. and I will push those changes to my GitHub. And I use GitHub Desktop. It's just a little bit easier. It's just a little bit faster. So it is 6 o'clock. Fetch photos. Okay, boom. We have fetch photos changes right in there. So now let's go ahead. And fetch our favorites. So it's also a lot of code. And I would like to save a little bit more time just to chill with you and chat with you. And I'm going to just copy that function. And paste it right there. And I'm going to go through that code with you. Because unfortunately, when you work with photo libraries, you have to write a lot of code just to do simple operations like that. So photo fetch favorites. So we have our fetch options right here. We have our image manager. Just in our old photo, we have our request options. And still synchronous delivery mode. We still want a high quality fetch predicate. So we're going to specify the predicate as favorites. Also really important to spell it out correctly, otherwise it won't do what you want it to do. And fetch sort description, descriptors. So we're going to use ns sort descriptor, key creation date, ascending true. So now we actually need to initialize our favorites. So our favorites, it is our ph fetch result. So ph collection, fetch collection with smart album. So this is really important. This is you need to specify the smart album and subtype smart album favorites, and we don't use any options. Asset collection, ph asset collection, and first favorite asset collection equals first object. So photo assets we use with the asset collection, and we don't specify any options. So now photos enumerated objects, and we use asset, we use like number, and we use pointer. And image manager request image for asset size, we specify the size. Content mode aspect fill, options request options right here. And now we only care about the image. So let me format it for you nicely so you can see what's going on, so it's a little bit more readable. So we have nice and easy to read code. Okay, and so this method is going to fetch our favorites. So let's go ahead and comment it out for right now, and let's say fetch favorites. And for favorites, we have only 2 photos. So if you didn't know, in order to make favorites, so let's say you have images right here and you want to make it favorite, you make a little heart right here, you add to the favorites. So if we want to run it one more time, we're going to see 3 images because I just added one more image to our favorite collection. So now we're done with our basic functionality. So we have method to fetch favorites, we have method to fetch photos. So let me update my GitHub repo. Fetch favorites. So you can go ahead and download it and follow along. And if you're joining my live stream right now, don't be shy. Say hi, and it's okay if we just chat and just chill for a little bit. So now let's figure out how we're gonna create our segmented control. Segmented control in SwiftUI works a lot similar to UI Kit, but there are nuances. So let me start just right here. Let me create an enum, and I'm gonna write some code, and I'm gonna explain in a little bit what I what that code does exactly, because it's just easier to put my code out there and just explain to you what's going on. Enum selected photos. Selected photos is going to be int and case O. It's going to be 1 case favorites is going to be 0. And we're going to use that, to capture our segmented control. So based on tag, we can fetch one or the other. So, and now let's create a static variable. State private var. And we're gonna say here selected photos. Selected photos equals selected photos favorites. Okay, now we need to create the actual picker. So, and let me just code it up, like right here, or not in the list, in our VStack. Picker, so, select photos. Binding is select photos and content. We're going to use text and name it favorites. Tag selected photos favorites. in other words, it's going to be 0. In other words, it's going to be 0, and all is going to be 1. O tag selected photos all. Now we're gonna say pick your view style, segment and picker style. So, and now we should be okay. We should be able to see that. Okay. So now we have segment and control, but how are we going to change that? How are we going to fetch favorites at all when it changes? When it changes. So with that, it requires we're going to change our fetch fetch where's that this guy this guy is going to change. So now we're going to listen to which selected photos were selected, and based on that we're going to call one method or the other. Selected photos. Now switch selected photos. For O, we're going to say fetch photos, and for favorites, we're going to say fetch favorites. I think that's correct. Yeah, I think that's correct. And now we have but now on appear. So like now we have to change this part. So I'm going to just delete this code, and we're going to figure it out. So on appear, let's say on appear, I would like to, on appear, because it is favorites, I would like to fetch favorites. Fetch photos and favorites. Let's see if it works. I don't want to like go too far alone and then it doesn't work. Okay, but like it's not changing right here. Understandable. Okay, so now right here we're going to call, and we're going to give a little bit more space to our list, and now we're going to say on change. And the value is going to be selected photos, and value is going to be selected photos. So, and here we're going to just do our switch statement. Select photos, just like that. Let's, yeah, and for all, we're going to say fetch, we're going to say request, and it's going to be all. And for favorites, it's gonna be fetch favorites. Let's see how it works. We have all. And we have a little bug right here. So our collection is somehow like it's clearly not working correctly. So there's a little bug. So the fix is really, really easy. We're gonna say photos, and we're going to make an empty array right here. And photos, we're also going to make empty array right there. So let's see how it works. So it's our all. Sorry, this is all. This is favorites. This is all. This is favorites. And now everything is working correctly. Now everything is working correctly. So, I'm going to take a little pause right here and fetch and update my repo. Let me see. We have one person who's watching. So hello. If you're joining my live stream right now, feel free to say hi. If you would like to chat, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask them. So I'm always happy to answer your questions. So, 617. Add segment and control. Here we go. And yeah, link is in the chat. Link is in the description for this video. So if you would like to follow along, if you would like to, or if you join in late and you would like to follow along from now on, feel free to do so. Feel free to do so. So, and now all we need to do is create our grid. So let's create our grid. And now after that, if we have a little bit more time, we might want to dive into architecture and actually refactor our code to make it like a view model. But only if we have time. We're at 48 minutes right now. So let's see where we land after. So let's create, so like right here, let's create scroll view. Scroll view vertical. And so we're doing our grid. For our grid, we have to create our grid item. Equals grid item. So grid item, minimum 0. I don't care what maximum is. Space and 0, and I don't care about the alignment. So that should work. Okay, let's go to our grid, to our scroll view, and create our lazy V grid. Lazy V grid spacing. Okay, columns. Let's just say grid item, and one more time, grid item, alignment center, that's good, spacing nil, ping previews, we don't care about ping previews. So, and right here, we're just going to copy and paste that code. Okay, and we don't need list anymore. I hope it works. Okay. Okay, and it works. So we have a little spacing issue right here that I don't like. So we're going to change something. Alignment center, and spacing will be 0. No, what? Oh. Let's see if it fixed anything or not. And it did. And it did. And it did. So, but this is how you fetch photos from your device. And let me go ahead and update it. Adding grid view. So we're at 53 minutes and we're pretty much done. So let me know if you're interested in seeing how view model would work, or we can just start right here, and or we can actually chat a little bit at the end about Apple event, because today, let me so yeah, I updated the code. You have updated the code. So yeah, now let's chat a little bit about Apple event. So let me know in the chat what you think about Apple event, or in the comments, because I don't see a lot of people on the stream right now, which is understandable. Today is 420. Today is a good day. Today, a lot of people are happy about the verdict. And I don't want to get into like political scene on my or political stuff on my live stream, but like today is a little bit is a little bit overwhelming day for a lot of people. So that's probably why not a lot of people in the live stream. But let's talk about Apple event. So I absolutely like Apple event, and I think one thing that I'm going to get for sure for myself and for my family is AirTag, because I lose my keys all the time, and I'm very tempted to buy iMac as well, because I always wanted to have iMac. I think I like the screen, I like how it feels, and just listening to the presentation that it is even faster right now. It is really amazing. So but other than that, I really don't have any other like impressions of the Apple event. AirTag for sure, I will purchase it ASAP. As soon as those hit the market, I'm going to be the first one to order them for my house, for my keys, and for my family. So iMac, I'm not sure, because I just bought this MacBook Air. Well, sorry, not MacBook Air, MacBook Pro M1, and I think it was a really good purchase, and Apple products are not that cheap, so probably not. At least I shouldn't. So I should control myself. It's just not buy every Apple product that I see right there. So yeah. Do you have any questions? I see one person is watching. Hey, one person, do you have any questions? If not, we're just going to wrap it up and finish our live stream. The code is in the repo, so if you would like to know how to fetch photos with SwiftUI, this is how. Let me switch to my coding scene, so you can actually see the code. So this code will work on UI kit as well. You just instead of fetching the model here like that, you can just fetch photos there. So it's gonna be a little different, but the logic is exactly the same. The logic is exactly the same. So I know I was wrapping up. But I would like to implement a couple of alerts, because here, if the photo is empty, we have to present some sort of alert. So it's gonna be really quick. And to make it quicker, I'm going to I'm going to just copy and paste some code from here. So in SwiftUI, to create an alert, you have to have some sort of state variable, which is Boolean, which will indicate whether or not you want to present an alert or not. So, and you can present an alert on a view. So and I'm going to present my alert on for each. So if the photos are empty, we're going to just add, we're just going to say that the photo is empty. And another edge case that we need to and we're going to just go ahead and comment that. And another, like the default, we have to present another alert. So we have to somehow tell our user that we don't have the access to the photos. So we have to warn them. We have to let them know what to do. So we're going to create another alert. So, and again, now is photo access alert presented, and it's going to be another alert, and we're going to present it on a different view. We're going to present it on the VStack itself. So you can't attach too many alerts to the same view. It has to be a different view. So on appear, and then we're going to, we're going to do it like that. And instead of break, we're gonna say is photo presented equals true. So I can spell, equals true. So let's just make sure that everything builds and runs. Why it's not building, or why it's not running. Okay. Oh, yeah, probably that's why. Alright, everything is good. Everything is good. Okay, so we handle our alerts. We handle we handle our fetch images. So I think our repo is ready. So I'm sorry, I forgot about it, and I couldn't just leave my repo like that. Finished. I couldn't just leave my repo like that because it's not a good practice. It is not a good practice. So if user did something or didn't do something, you gotta let them know and say, hey, I need access to the photos. Or if they don't have any photos, you have to let them know, like, hey, I don't have any photos. So, and this is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video or podcast, or I'm sure I will see you on my social media. Follow me on Twitter. It's at Eugene iOS Dev. I would be happy to see you. Let me know if you have any questions, and that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Thank you so much. I will see you next time.